Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. It seems like people have forgotten that I'm around. Don't, because the best podcast in the game is here. And though I had to take some time off, Rakim even said, people stop and ask me when the album dropping. Well, the wait is over. You know what I'm saying? The podcast is back. Shout out to everybody who's been patient, going through some health things, taking care of some responsibilities. But guess what? Like hip hop will never leave you. Heritage Hip Hop Podcast will never leave you. And if you paid attention to the intro, we want to give a shout out and a rest in peace to Tame One. The artifacts are in that intro. So it's some of the best fallen MCs from Jersey, like Govmatic, Big Snuff, Deuce H. Wood, the Fifth. We're shouting out and giving respect to everyone. And since God's people are his heritage and our culture is hip hop, that means God's heritage is hip hop. And it would be horrible for us not to pay respect to the people who helped build this culture from the ground up and respect you while we do it. Once again, my name is Karev. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button because I need to hit the algorithm. I need you here with us. Hit the like button, number one. Number two, subscribe, share, and join the party. Also, check the links in the YouTube description to help us build this platform into something greater. Get some merch. We got t-shirts and things. We got little action figures in the collaboration with Super 7. The new figure out right now is MF Doom with the New York Knicks jersey on. Help a brother out and help hip hop out. But today we have a special guest who not only brings uniqueness to the microphone, he brings a love for being unique and being heard. See, some of the greatest MCs are the ones who don't just rhyme. You could detect them by the voice. And as you know, for Jadakiss or Chuck D or even E40, the voice can make a person stand out and it brings attention to the track and it also makes the beat change around your ears. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to one of your future favorite artists today, and he goes by the name of Travesty the Lazy Emcee. What's up, bro?
Yo, big shouts. What's goody? What's goody?
I hope that intro was dope.
Love me, man. Mostly the voice, gangstar.
Yeah, man. Hey, the guru. Hey,
Word up.
Shout out right now to DJ K1 on the check-in. Peace, peace, peace.
Come on, big homie.
Let's get started, man, because we're living in an age right now where hip-hop has been confined to the opinion and not held to the standard. I want to know, what is hip-hop to you? And what is the standard you want to keep it at?
Shit. I mean, I grew up. When I fell in love with hip hop was obviously in mid early '90s and on. So I was lucky to be part of what they say is the golden era. So hip hop to me is all the elements combined. Respect to the culture, real MCs, beats and rhymes, DJs, knowledge of self, the whole package all together. And, it's honestly just from the music side, it's just dope shit. I mean, as you said, the names you said, even with the voices from E40 to Guru to Rock, who all the ones you said, totally different sounds and styles, but that's hip hop. It's dope is dope, so that's my standard. And the music I want to make is really just beats and rhymes and dope, and make dope music, with the homies, and just continue trying to push that the sound where it's respect for self, the culture, and just about life.
Let's talk about life, because for you to be in hip hop had to be a part of your life. When did hip hop first meet you, and how did you know hip hop was something special?
Man, shit. I was always as a young kid, first thing I was into was playing sports, and I was tall, so I always played basketball, and that was my thing. I just remember my homies were playing one day. It was they started playing Bone Thugs, the first Bone Thugs, the Thuggish Ruggish joint, and I was like, oh, this is wild, and at the time I was like, I was 10 or something. And I was mostly into sports, wasn't in too much music. I mean, I knew hip hop from there, but that was my first time really clicking with an artist. But then he slid on 36 Chambers right after. And that's when it was like, yo, what is this? Now 30 Chambers was already out, but I still, and I heard it, but I never really heard it, and that's really kind of vibing with the homies that day after playing ball. And that's when really, I don't know, maybe because I started getting I had a little job, so I was making a little money so I could start getting some CDs and stuff, or I don't know what it was, but that's when it really like kicked in for me.
That's dope. Where were you?
I was down, it was in the Fort Lauderdale probably area, I would think. But I was down in South Florida at the time.
See, Florida has a rich hip hop history. And you know what's dope about Florida? Florida is one of the most essential places in the history of what hip hop is. Shout out to Luther Campbell. Shout out to the Poison Clan. Shout out to Skywalker Records, right? And even when you go down further into the history, people would say Rick Ross or one of my favorite females in the game. What was her name? Not Trina. Jackie O. I used to love Jackie O. I mean, man, Florida has a story.
For sure.
So when you first heard these records, how was it a culture clash of sound and society for what you heard and what you saw growing up in Florida?
I mean, I think because not a culture class. I think I always even as a youth, Luke and all that stuff was out. I still gravitated more towards like Wu-Tang. Since that was the first sound, it was really more of the up north music that I was still gravitated towards, and my homies around me. So that's kind of what we were vibing to. Now, that's also in my younger years when I started becoming a younger teenager and getting to more of the knuckleheaded stuff, and more exposure to the music, understanding what it is and understanding the MCs and just maturing as a person with the music and the understanding of it. Seeing a lot of similarities, but I guess, but difference, you know what I mean? I guess, in Florida, I love Built for Cuban Links, but we're not walking around in bubble jackets. A lot of times you might think of that as winter music, and there's no winter in Florida, but there's a nighttime, and when it gets cold, a little chilly, Florida might be at 65 or something, difference, but in all reality, I think what was so dope about that time is when you heard those music, you felt like you were there. And all my family's from New York, so I would travel there over in the summer and stuff, all on Long Island and stuff. So it was like part of my youth anyway.
That's fire, because when I think of Florida, I think of MC Nas D. You know what I'm saying? I think of booty-based music. But see now you opened up a can of interest, because you are the dichotomy of what hip hop is. You are a plant inside of Florida, but you also had a rest in New York. Mm-hmm. So you were able to get touched by different cultures within one culture itself, which was the experience of what hip hop is. For you to like something, it has to be a part of you. You said you were getting into the knucklehead thing. What was the most unique thing about hip hop that stood out to you that made you question yourself and want to grow in it?
You might have froze. Wait, my bad. You froze at the very end.
Okay. I said, when it comes to hip hop, what was the most unique thing about hip hop that made you question yourself and made you want to grow inside of it?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think honestly, growing up and especially playing basketball and sports, I don't know how to say, but maybe it was like corny to look smart or be smart in some aspects. Okay. But when I listen to sound smart, I guess. But then when you heard these MCs and you're like, the words and the wordplay, you can't be dumb and put that stuff together. So it was kind of cool to show, I guess some of the wordy side of the lyrical side and not feel as corny to want to learn and read stuff, especially Wu-Tang, where they're talking the books and the scriptures and all, all that type of stuff. I think it changed a lot of people to kind of maybe try to do a little homework into certain stuff. It's cool. It's dope to be smart.
Shout out to DJ Kwan, Mad Good Records, Leather Flower 8923, Notes 82, my bro, and Drums Rugged, my other bro. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Thank you for tuning in. We are with Travesty the Lazy Emcee. So make sure y'all hit the like button and share. Hit the share button. We need to hit that algorithm. And how y'all like the new set? Heritage Hip Hop is back with a new look, but we have the same content. And my brother right here is talking about how at one time lyrics mattered. Do you think in today's hip hop, the youth is being cheated by not having artists that are bending the wordplay in the brain? Instead, they're just feeding the beat and giving out rhythm.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I would say that's more on the popular side. On the I think there's definitely not, popular actors. There's still the J. Cole's, the Kendricks, Drake or whatever, in those aspects where you want to say maybe could be more of the lyrical popular rap, but that's still not this era. I don't think they still have that. There's a lot of dope lyrical, when people looking around, a lot of dope rappers. If for the cats who are digging, I think it's great for them to find stuff because it's everywhere. I mean, as we said right before this interview, you were naming a gang MCs that I know my stuff, but you named the gang MCs I wasn't aware of, and I wrote them down because I got to peep them, and there is that avenue out there, but as far as popular rap, it's tough for me. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the same. I think the catchy beat and the social media and the TikTok, kind of. I like how I say "the" before each one, but you know what I mean. Yeah, but it's it's kind of oversaturated the game. Took the mystery out of some MCs, which I think hurt some MCs, and yeah, oversaturated, and now it's a lot of ringtone rap is what you're getting.
But you know what's real though, and I'm gonna say this to be point blank honest. People were allowed to call things hip hop that were not hip hop, and that hurt the genre, not the culture. Because I'm gonna keep it real. It's a certain young lady female that I've seen live, and when she rap, all she do is rap like 6 bars and then shake her butt. And I call it Down syndromic rap. I don't call it hip hop, And then we got people who make noises and jump around on stage. That's not hip hop. That's a genre of music though that got grafted out from hip hop. And I hear people say, our people we don't take our children out to support the hip hop so they know this exists. And I think that's a false statement, because as long as you have people out there who's telling the story, there's people who will listen to it. So my question to you as an MC or artist is, whatever you call yourself, I want to ask you this. What's the most important part of hip hop that you live and share in your music?
Oh man. The most important thing I would say is, as an MC, is bringing lyrics and ideas to my music. As you said, when I rock a show, whatever, what's dope is like what a lot of my homies say is like, once you get just how it's just bam, 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 how I just know my shit. It's funny, like once I get into that first line, I know it's straight through. But just being professional and being about your lyrics. Like if you're the MC, of course you got to pick out dope beats. That's part of having the ear, but that's also the producer doing it. Your job is to paint a picture essentially, and painting that picture depending on what audience you're going to is also a whole nother talent. If, you know, however you, like you're saying, it is for the children, certain songs for the homies, certain songs for the girls, you know, certain songs for the streets, whatever, how it goes, you know. But I think just being true to yourself and being a lyricist is what I really try to bring from my side as an artist.
I respect that because we're at a crossroads of hip hop. 2025 has been the year that everything went to hell and people are fighting. We have ageism, we have identity crisis, we have defining crisis of what the culture is, and now we have the posthumous album being one of the better albums to come out of the year. Because hip hop has always been criticized. When somebody's died, I don't want to hear them on this beats. They didn't even get along with those people. But when you have an album like the Mobb Deep album, blows your mind and shows that not only is hip hop capable, but it keeps people who have passed away alive to new ears. How important is the ear to you? And is the ear the most important receptacle of hip hop in your opinion?
Yeah, I would think it's got to be. At least as me from an artist and the music side of hip hop, of course. Maybe if I was a dancer or a graph writer, it'd be different. But from an MC, an ear for sure. I just yeah, I mean, it's definitely, yeah, and it's the ear for sure. But what was my bad? What's the second part of that question?
So you said the ear. So the ear is the most important receptacle of hip hop. Let's go in a different direction.
Where?
Because you said the ear. So if the ear is the most important part that receives hip hop, what's the most important instrument within hip hop to you?
The voice.
Why?
Because that's essentially, as not being a producer, that is my instrument. And not only from the words I write, but, you know, as far as ad libs and the sounds beyond it, and just a voice is a big part, and lucky to be a part of my instrument. You know what I mean? As you say, certain artists can get away with certain stuff just because of their voice. So I think it's very important for your sound and to develop your voice and your sound together. So also my voice works with certain beats, and that's what I try to pick as just because of my sound and how I sound on certain beats. Just like certain instruments, you probably wouldn't mesh with other ones at times because it might clash depending on how you play or whatnot, you know? So yeah, voice is definitely the most important instrument for me.
That's a technical skill you're talking about, because some people try to rap over everything and fuck up real bad. like I'm gonna keep it real. Ladies and gentlemen, Travesty the Lazy Emcee has an album out right now with DJ Kwan and the Bench Warmer Click. That's what it's called, the Bench Warmers Click.
Yeah, that's the homies. Yeah.
That is funny. We're gonna talk about that, but the name of the album is called "What a Time to Be Alive." And as you can tell by Trav's voice, he is very quiet storm. He could talk your ears off. What my man said on the Ghostface album, he said, I won't make you sleepy, but I'll put you to bed. They got the voice that can be used to set the mood. But the very wise thing he said is production is what brings the best out of his voice, because there's certain things that he can use to his advantage. And from what I heard from you, jazz is one of the biggest compliments to your voice. Do you think so?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I love jazz beats. I love, just from Tribe and De La, Bush Babies, all that Sean J. Period, those type of, I love the jazz hip hop for sure.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm gonna save that for the end of the interview, because you just answered, you just put 5 new questions in my head. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about something in particular. We're gonna build on something you just said. Oh, that's over my face. I'm gonna take that off. We're gonna go to the let's build part of the conversation, everybody. And let's build is when the MC says something or the artist says something very instrumental to the interview that I want to focus on. we talk about production. Shout out to DJ K1, who was one of the recipients of the Soundwave Producers Award of the Past Heritage Hip Hop Award Show. If y'all haven't seen it, it's on YouTube right now, and look for something more to come later. What did DJ K1 bring to you that brought the best out of your voice? Or what does he bring?
I mean, Kawan's got all types of sounds, yo. He sends me joints all the time, so it's dope. You know, we're building on another. We got a joint with me and Lynn that he produced. So you know, the fan with notes and Lynn and Kondu and Kawan. It's just a dope collective. But Kawan's also dig. I think a lot of his production is dark, and now I'm not saying my content is super dark, what I'm rapping about, but just with my voice, it can give you that dark, you know, sound. So Kawan can get that moody, dark production, but still have the jazz vibe to it, and give me both sides of that. So I think really we just vibe on the same type of music and sound. So it's dope that his production, I think, really just fits my voice. But I think he's also the type of producer that when he's making joints, especially to the crew, he already knows kind of like, once he hits that probably sample in the drums, I'm gonna slide this to notes or Lynn or you know, the Trav, whatever, you know. So you know, shouts to him and his production ear to know kind of what I like. You know, at first he was sending me packs, and then I think now, you know, it's just kind of one or two joints here or there, but each one's a keeper, you know. So it's dope.
In an age where people try to destroy boom bap and say it's not relevant, and jazz is essential to the boom bap sound, what about your sound, your production of choice? What keeps that sound alive, and why is that sound still relevant to you, in your opinion?
I think that is the sound of hip hop. It's the only sound that's lasted the trends. There's always going to be popular trends, but boom bap, you know, from 88 on, shit, 80, 85 on, you know what I mean? It's always been boom bap. Now it's might been elevated to a degree with maybe from the samples and you know, the way the producers learn and do things, new instruments or whatnot. But boom bap is here to stay. Now it might not still be the popular sound at the moment, but I think it'll make its rotation back up. And you know, it was just cats like Alchemist and Premier and Pete Rock still doing it. And you know, Alchemist's content and output, there's still a huge following for boom bap. It's just, I think it's just very oversaturated, but it's still there, you know.
Oversaturated how?
Well, if you scroll down Instagram, there's a million artists you can listen to. And so it's a lot of people look at it as playlist music, and they're not peeping the artist, because it's like, hey, I just got this one, I got this one, I peep this one, I peep this one. And sometimes it's a lot to ingest and really invest in that artist. And they're like, they're listening to the project one time to pick one or two joints they like to throw on their playlist. And that's still dope. But you know, I still miss it, which I still do, but it's the time for me. It's like, you know, I still have the time I want to throw the album on, listen to the joints all the way through, you know.
So I want to ask you another question, since we talk about production and how production opens the ears to people finding new music. Has playlist culture contributed to the downfall of hip hop in 2025?
I would yeah, to a degree. Yeah. I mean, because I think like playlist has always been there to a degree, but our playlist with DJs, and I think DJs also, good and bad, were gatekeepers, you know. So maybe in some cases some good artists got left out, but a lot of other stuff that you didn't need to hear didn't come in, you know. But also those were the playlists. But I think, yes, I think it also led Spotify just so much music kicking out there, and which is dope, which I love that it's that much out there. But I think it's just so much. So I think the playlists have led to a lot of it. And I think that's how people ingest music. You know, that's why buying the physical album is not the same anymore. Obviously, there's a resurgence of buying vinyl and cassettes and CDs, but it's not the same like for our era when you cherished when you got that joint.
Hell no. 'Cause I remember back when I was in school, you would go out eat lunch for the week to buy an album. Let
Yeah,
alone CD album, the tapes were $10, CDs were
yeah.
20. He was like, damn, they doubled the price of the music. And now music is free. It's a commodity. Nobody cares anymore and I think because of people could just put songs on the playlist and that's it. But because of the playlist, we don't have the video show that will put Trav the Lazy MC, Notes 82 next to a Nas or a MC Breed or E40, Cash Money. We don't have that. We don't have that regionality put together. So you had a mix of music. Because I'm not going to lie, my favorite hip hop show of all time is Video Music Box. And I'm telling you, one of my favorite episodes, I got to see 3 of my favorite songs back to back to back, which was Wu-Tang Clan, Protect Your Neck, M.O.P., How About Some Hardcore, and Gangstar Dwick. Back to back to back. And I was like, what the, you know what I'm saying?
That's a classic run right there.
Yeah, and now, what's our outlet to bring the new excitement? What do you think? How do we bring the new excitement back to hip-hop?
Well, I think the DJs need to be, I guess shit, it's tough. I think because you need money behind certain stuff to kind of bring it together. And I think similar things are like Mass Appeal and Nas is doing, which is dope. It's a resurgence for the veterans, which is awesome to see. But the artist development and the I guess the promotion, maybe like another type ruckus or some sort of resurgence of underground to kind of bring these artists up. I think a lot of that is missing, but you need money behind that to fund it. I mean, a lot of times the big records is money behind it, of course you got to invest in the ears, got to hit it, but there's a lot of money behind it. So which is tough. And it also goes to the listener on the listener side where I think a lot of people just got to be yourself. You got to like what you like. And I think a lot of people follow the trend or listen to what's popular or what their homie played. And instead of being like, I'm not digging that, or play this, or they listen to underground hip hop in their room and they get in the car and they playing the popular joints. I mean, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? But, to me, it's like, be you, like what you like and play what you play. And but I think the DJs got to get out more. The DJs got to get more love on the radio. You got to stop at the playlist. And I think that's really what it is. I think the gatekeepers got to really just continue pushing dope stuff. But I think even our generation kind of slack, because if you see like even the artists we love, even when you look as much money is behind some of these artists, you're like, why aren't you putting out new artists? Why aren't you putting out dope shit? Like more Alchemist type of stuff. I mentioned his name a couple of times, but you see how many artists he works with, or even Static Selector, something like that. They continue to put out these dope projects with lesser artists with the same caliber of larger artists they know, which is just, I think, pretty dope.
So then I'm gonna flip that answer back on you and give you the responsibility of the artist. How many DJs do you personally know? And how often do you feed them your music to get play in the street, not just on the radio?
Touche. I know a lot of DJs just from being down in the Florida scene. A lot of dope cats, but on the promotion itself, that's where I lack a lot. It's not in honestly getting down with Maggood the last couple of years. That's where it's really dope to work with them, because they helped me on that side with helping promote me and get my music out more. But I need to work on that myself. But I got to get in the DJ's hands, like you said. It's not the same, DJs ain't going. That's how they played the records before. Is they got fed by the artist. So straight up.
So before we go to break, Drums Rugged said, jazz and boom bap music to me has always been cousins. a lot of similarities with the two. Yeah, because production is a very important part of the identity of hip hop. Notes 82, it says we have to invest into creativity being a thing again. A lot of noise being released instead of real music being promoted. Any last words on that?
No, that's true. As we said, the popular rap that is promoted, that has the money behind it, there's not a lot. It's for dancing and for quick TikTok spins. I think yeah, you got to put out the essence of hip hop, the dope lyricists, the people pushing the music, just continue making dope shit from all areas. All areas.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Travesty the Lazy Emcee, and we're going to talk about his new album. The new album is called Part of My Notes, What a Time to Be Alive, which is available on your streaming platforms right now. But you could buy it, because we want you to buy it. Spend your money, buy it, and invest in this hip hop. And more importantly, stay tuned, because not only do we get into the album, we're going to find out who was he talking to on 3 of these songs. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Where you get your hip hop from? Yeah. What's up? This tribal trigger trench in the building. You already know. Nip, naughty.
Hey, Redman is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media.
What up, y'all, man? It's your boy Do It All, Do Pray Kelly, right here on Heritage Hip Hop, man. Look, man, let me tell you something. Make sure you support Heritage Hip Hop, because without these brothers bringing you hip hop, we're not gonna stay informed, man, the way that we need to stay informed, man. And they're not just giving you hip hop, man. They're giving you the heritage of hip hop right here, man. Yo, Karab, I see you. Heritage Hip Hop, man. Let's do it.
It ain't nothing like Heritage Hip Hop.
Quality breeds success. And remember, a man that fails to plan plans to fail. And we plan to take Heritage Hip Hop to the next level. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share. If you're on Spotify or Apple Music, or wherever you listen to this, please give us a review and let us know, let the world know Heritage Hip Hop exists, and we're here for you. We're joined by Travesty the Lazy Emcee, and we're going to talk about his album, What a Time to Be Alive. Tell me about the creation of this project and where it came from.
Honestly, it started off, the first record me and Kwan ever did was damn it, it's one of the joints on it. I forgot the damn name. I'm singing the hook in my head right now. I can't remember the name, but it's we worked on that first joint, and it was going to be a joint on his compilation, and it was a dope vibe, a quick joint we did together, and he was kind of like, I was on his podcast, and we vibed out, so he was kind of like, let me send you some, let me send you a couple more joints, and we just kind of keep it moving from there. It was Let It Go. Let It Go is the name of the record. That was the first joint you ever did. It's like the second to last record on the album. But it was just a dope connection we made together, and we just started building from there. It was like mine. So we started building the project from there, just kind of picking beats and doing joints till we came with something we thought we were like, okay, we'll go with this pack of 12, and let's get it out. I think you're on mute.
Yeah, my bad. I want to ask you a question, because there's a certain genius to this album or project. This started out as doing songs, but did it turn into a conversation piece?
I mean, essentially, like with the What a Time to Be Alive, it was a transition in my life where with work, I was moving from Florida up to outside of Indianapolis, so it was a huge change. You know what I mean? And most of the album was recorded then, but there's a couple songs that was recorded like when I knew about the transition, and it was real quick. It was like it happened when I found out, and I had like 2 months to get everything together and move, and it was real low key. I didn't even tell a lot of the homies and shit because it was like boom. So there was a lot going on. So yeah, it was a conversation piece essentially, where I was still able to get my shit off, but with some frustrations and real life challenges I was going through.
Let me tell you about one impressive thing that made me pay attention a little more. The intro and first track basically were the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Bread and then track 2, butter, because everybody knows about bread and butter being a metaphor, right? But it was the way you set it up. It was like your bread sustains you, but your butter is your flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the introduction to the album. Talk about that and where you were taking the direction of the listener with those two, the intro and the first song.
So how that came apart was butter was actually it was inspired by Tribe. You know, just and it was more me just smooth beat, talking smooth and kind of just kind of get a little talking my shit. And you know, Kawan kind of slid the idea, and he was like, yo, you know, this was kind of the sample, you know, what maybe we could do something for the intro, like. And when he sent over the sample and how, you know, it would flow smooth into the first joint, obviously. But with the joint, we're calling the joint butter. It was just to set the album up too. It's like you get the bread first, like you said, then you put the butter on it with the flavor. So that's kind of how it was setting it off, and it just was kind of the play on words, and that's where I was kind of like, yo, I'm gonna call it bread and you know, kind of set the album off with that, and then you know, start with the flavor on the second track.
Part of this album reminds me of early 90s hip hop, 93, 94 era. Maybe a little bit of 92. Because there's a song on there called What, right? And What seems to have like a Pete Rock feel to it. Because it has, you know, what, huh? Like, you know, it has the voice inflections in it. And then there's the flow to match it. That's very Pete Rock-esque. That takes me back to I and I. That takes me back to P Rock and CL Smooth, and rest in peace to take me to ADOR. Let it all hang out. Was that your era and what you wanted to try and put on this album or project, or was this something that you were given and you had to get it out? You had to express yourself to it so you could define the what in your song.
Well, honestly, I think it's a combination, but that's one of my favorite. Like when Kwan sent that joint, I was like, yup, that's me right there, automatic. That and Know My Name are probably two of my favorite joints on there, at least artist favorite. A lot of times the artist favorite don't transcend to the listener, but shit, those are my two favorite, I think, beat wise too. And it was just, yeah, smooth flow. And yeah, like 93 to 96 is probably some of my favorite hip hop. So just being inspired by Tribe, kind of, you know, and bringing that element to the song, and having, you know, that Pete Rock vibe. And a lot of my music, you know, smoke weed and shit. So the nighttime vibes, and just it was late when I wrote the record, so it kind of all went to bed, you know, together, because it's kind of like, you know, I'm braggadocious, but still talking about, like, you know, nighttime, over that smooth production, and having that you know, kind of Pete Rock sound on the hook. Yeah, I just kind of brought all together. But essentially, that is the sound I love, but it also was, you know, gave me the channel to get my shit on.
There's traces of the Midnight Marauders album on this project.
I'll take
with the Jet.
Word.
One of my favorite songs on the Midnight Marauders, was it Midnight Marauders or was it Low End Theory? I think it's Low End Theory I'm talking about, not Midnight Marauders.
I think both.
The night is on the mind. The sun is still shining when the night is on the mind. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You see, when the album starts, it's very laid back, and it fits the lazy MC part because your voice is very baritone. You're talking very slow. You're modestly getting people to listen to you with a laid back feel. So I guess that comes with the weed thing, I guess, right? But then there's certain songs where the beat picks up and you start talking your shit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, it's not the double up. I'm gonna talk about that too. But there's a time when you're actually talking to somebody on this project, and I want to know, were you battling yourself or were you putting somebody else in check by picking up the tempo of the project?
Part of that, was help with Kawan too, though, with bringing that production to me, which is dope because with my voice, I have to bring that energy or I'm going to sound asleep on those records. It'll be real low and undertone. So I have to bring that energy. And it is a battle to myself and to almost like when you're listening to something or you're out there and you'd be like, I'm doper than that. That's just bullshit or whatever, So it's like you're talking to that person to a degree, even though it's not someone there, but you're talking to them,
So my click.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Like that's one of the ones where the tempo actually raises. So that was a challenge for you or to you?
What my click, I felt was more of the laid back smoke record.
The tempo changed very sharply on that because the drums was a little more active and it wasn't just horn driven.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I mean that, again, that's all Kawan. And that was me just, talking about the homies again, like, the click, how we get down, and we're dope. And, kind of peep the crew, shouts, notes, Lynn, and Kawan, Magma Records and all that,
It's good that you know your sound because some people are hard pressed to not have a sound. They just want to vibe out. And that's what makes you unique. That's what makes part of what makes this project what a time to be alive. That's part of what makes this project so eloquent is that I could put this on the chill. I don't smoke, so I don't know what the smoke vibe is to it. But when I just want to chill and I'm just laid back in my thoughts and I just want to vibe, that's a good midnight drive album for me. You see what I'm saying? Or when I'm in the crib, I just want my feet up. I have my feet up and I'm just looking at something or planning how to take over the world, Pinky and the Brain style.
Mm-hmm.
That is the album that really makes the mood elevated.
That's dope. I appreciate that.
No doubt. What gets you high when it comes to making music? And what is the high when you know you made something that'll transcend the ear past one listen only?
I'm a fan first. So I think my high is usually when I first make the records, I knock them out quick. What's dope is there's not much that needs to be done on my voice, even on the rough track, to make it sound decent. So I'm lucky with that. People be like, "Oh, you be sending the roughs," and they sound like, "Is that mixed?" My vocal, I'm like, "Nah." But so I get lucky sometimes in that, depending on the mic and whatnot. Damn, I lost my train of thought again.
That's some good weed, y'all. It's lose the train of thought, but it's all good, yo.
It was like what gets me high, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's it's pretty much when the records. So I don't listen to it. I shut it off, and then when because I'm like when I first make the record, I'm not digging it, but when I come back to it, and I listen back to it, and I'm like, word, okay, and start getting the nod. And when I first hear it, I think, you play it back too many times and you're like, okay, let me get it out the way. I'm gonna come back in like an hour or something. And when you listen back to it and you're like, word, okay, I'm right there. That's a ticket right there. And you kind of smile to yourself because you in pocket, you in the rhythm, you got the joint, and then maybe it's just a little couple touches here and there and the record's dope, and that's as easy for me to get me a smile just because I just love dope shit.
So let's walk off on this interview on a high. because I asked somebody, music is like a meal. But when you go out to eat, what do you enjoy? The meal or the napkin? What do you remember? Most people say the meal. But when people take their music and throw it away, the meal wasn't the highlight. The highlight for them was just the experience of throwing something away. What is the challenge as an artist to make music that people will keep in the age of commodity? And how do you plan to beat it?
That is, I mean, that 100% I think is a struggle for a lot of like-minded artists. And I think that's just, I think one thing key I'm trying to push with Mad Good Records is bringing those physicals back, the cassettes, the CDs, the vinyl, so people have something in their hand. I think that's good as long, they can come back to it. They put that back on and it defeats that playlist. But also in that, to make something that's timeless. And just making a dope piece of art. I mean, to me, is you always strive to make those Wu-Tang Gangstar type of records that are just like shit. At least in my mind, I play them today, and I'm like, yeah, it's just dope. It's timeless, and I think a lot of times staying away from like pop culture references and all that to like throw your music out of date, type of shit. So just just keeping true to yourself, and just making dope shit.
So then the way to save hip hop is to keep your identity and be the best you can be, not just make music because you can and put it out to see if shit stick. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, I mean, with day and age of throwing up music, you see how much artists can release stuff. I mean, even in my stem, I could release a song every day. But it's about I think putting some substance behind your music and being true to yourself and just creating your own sound and vibe and creating your own identity.
I need to put some music out there. Look out for Heritage Hip Hop Presents very soon.
Word up.
Let's give the up-and-coming artist some game. Are you BMI or ASCAP registered?
ASCAP.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from what I've understand in my research, ASCAP is where you go to for songwriting credits to make sure you get your respect and your credentials recognized as a songwriter. BMI, though, is where artists will go if they're looking to put their stuff on TV, sync licenses, and movies, because BMI is more easily researched. So as an artist that's putting out music, make sure you know where you want your music to go and who you're signing up to, so you can use it to your advantage, not only to recoup your money, but to make music that'll live forever and to know where it's placed. You agree?
That's, knowledge, That's dope.
And that's what we all about on Heritage Hip Hop. Please give everybody your social medias. Let them know where they can find you and hear some more of your great music.
Word. You can hit me at on Instagram at Travesty the Lazy Emcee. Also, my clique, the Benchwarmers clique, on Instagram is at the Invincible Bench. That same handle on, you can find any platform. Travesty the Lazy Emcee, the Benchwarmers clique. That's YouTube. That's all platforms, Spotify. Wherever. Check me out. New album, What a Time to Be Alive. Still got a dope catalog. Pete Mad Good Records, madgoodrecords.com. They got physicals of my shit and a bunch of other dope artists. Just continue to put out dope shit as a whole. Real dope catalogs. Check us out, and more to come.
We ain't done yet. It's over. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not forgotten about the rapid fire questions. The rapid fire questions are not yes and no questions. These are questions designed to show the importance, the intelligence, and the depth of hip hop knowledge that this MC knows about himself and the genre of music and culture that he represents. Are you ready to play this game, sir?
Let's do it. Hopefully this weed ain't messed me up.
Here we go. Question number 1. What song or album from another artist perfectly defines you?
Shit. Devin the Doobie Ashtray.
That is one of my favorite songs of all time. That's
That's an ill record. One of my
That's
favorite
my
joints.
joint, yo.
Crazy story how it came across. You know how it was pretty much a remix, but yeah, super dope.
That's one of my favorite songs.
Huh.
Okay, check this out. What's the perfect hip hop beat? Meaning, if this person never had the beat and you had it, it would have been your first single.
I love Award Tour by Tribe.
Award Tour. Shout out to Q-Tip on the production.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is the most important click in hip hop history to you and why?
Click. If the click has to be in the word, it's boot camp click.
Boot camp? Why? Why boot camp?
I think independent side, just how they remain, stay dope. The collective, Smith and Wesson, Buckshot, Black Moon, Helter Skelter, OGC, how they stuck together. I know OGC maybe B minus. I love B minus. I wish they stuck with that production for forever. But just the diversity and the music they made throughout all the years, and remaining independent and still doing their thing.
And shout out to the Offspring, the Ruck Down Records, the Dunny Brown. Shout out to my man Jux Diamonds. Yo, that's a dope answer, yo. If you could think about a place that you could go to that would represent hip hop, and perfectly in your opinion, what would that place be? Where is it at?
I mean, I grew up New York. Seems like that.
Where in New York?
I guess they say Bronx.
The Bronx, perfectly?
That's where they say it started at, I guess. Yeah.
All right, so check this out. I think Brooklyn is the perfect representation of hip hop, in my opinion, because Brooklyn has a single called The Crooklyn Dodgers. They made it 3 times, tour premiere, one with Ninth Wonder, and they took it around the world to represent where they're from. If you could represent where you're from, who are your 3 MCs and who is the producer on the song?
I could pick any MCs
that represent that place.
Well, I mean, pretty much I represent Florida. 3 MCs. Damn, that's a tough one. Florida MCs making the track, and I got to pick the producer.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit. Let's say Dead Prez. I think they from Northern Florida, actually. You don't count it? No?
I never heard him shout out Florida. I heard him shout out Brooklyn. I don't know about Florida.
Yeah, but I think they from like Tallahassee or something. I could be wrong. Okay, I won't count that.
I could be wrong, but Dead Prez.
I could be wrong too. I'm searching. I mean, I could go with there's a lot of dope cats. Let's just say local cats that I fuck with heavy out of Florida. I think DJ Proof is super ill out of Florida. MCs, I would say my man H, he's a legend out of Florida to me. Let's say Mike Ripper, all right, rest in peace. He did his thing, 96 Cream. And who's real dope right now? I think my man Shotty's holding it down real big time from Florida, doing his thing. Real dope.
Shout out to all them. Let's go into the uniqueness of hip hop. Hip hop is now being attacked by AI culture. As an artist, what do you think about AI culture, and will hip hop survive it?
Yeah, I don't think it. I mean, I should say this. If you're using AI a little bit to, like, I don't know, help your art, I think that's okay. But when there's AI artists or AI making the beat, or AI doing the whole video or all your artwork, you're taking away the art form from those artists. As an MC, you're like, oh, it's a great avenue for me. But what happens when the AI artist comes into play? You know what I mean? So I'm not a big fan of it, yo. I'm still an analog guy.
Stay tuned to Heritage Hip Hop because we have 2 producers coming up who've made AI albums. We're going to talk about that because there's an AI R&B singer out right now. Timbaland has his A-pop artist, Talk To Me. And if you didn't know, there was an AI artist a couple years ago that had the industry by storm. And the actual company got sued about the artist.
Oh,
and
the
the
cartoon guy. Yeah.
We'll talk about all that. And I'm very interested in what you had to say because there's now people who don't have the money, and the AI is what they have to put out and fund the look of their project. Is pushing creativity forward at the sacrifice of human conscience? Can hip hop be hip hop without a human conscience, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I mean, as an artist, I think you have to have a conscience. I mean, I think AI can be can help, but it's just like anything. You put a tool in the hand of someone, it can become a weapon. So to me, I think it's really, you should stick to the artist. Now, I see what you're saying about the money and the financial side, and I get it. I get it in that part too. But nowadays, even like a cell phone can get you pretty far. And I mean, getting creative on your cell phone and maybe using AI to assist some of the things you're doing is okay. But I think doing everything for you, I think it's just tough for me.
Here's my final question of rapid fire. I want to ask you about representation in hip hop, because hip hop is very inclusive. And one of the beefs I had with Timbaland and Talk To Me is it's a very racially ambiguous person. And if people get sucked into the visuals, we can erase the whole identity of where hip hop started from the door. You see what I'm saying? And now that people are using AI for political purposes, we had a young man in a shiesty mask who did a pro-America post, and they turned it into a anti-Trump post to incite racial bias and prejudice against a certain group of people. How does hip hop keep its unique, authentic identity in a world where people are using computers to define the look, the feel, and the audacity of prejudice in social media and content media?
Yeah, that I say that part's tough. I mean, there's always been fakes and imposters, you know what I mean? But when they came outside, eventually they got punched in the face. Nowadays, you know what I mean? They're behind the keys, they're protected. You know, that's why you see I mean, even our days, you see the tough people in the cars, but it catches up to some people, you know. But you know, you have that level of protection. So I call them like closet racists, you know what I mean? Like they smile in your face and they get home and they type it in the keyboard and type in nonsense or whatever. And whether it's a bot or people feeding into that crap, you gotta find what's keeping it real. And a lot of times, it's tough nowadays. That AI shit is crazy. They take the snippets from shit and they turn it into whatever they want in some degree, and that shit goes viral because people want the nonsense and getting mad about it. And like half the time you might be arguing with a bot and you're like, shit, you're making, so it's crazy. You just got to be keeping it real and kind of keep your head on the swivel and pay attention. You know what I mean? Don't get involved with the nonsense. Look for most of that shit has no substance. So look for the substance. Find what you love and follow that shit.
How'd you like being on the Heritage Hip Hop podcast, or would you recommend this to anybody else?
Hell yeah. No, this is dope, man. You guys, different questions. You get people thinking, man. Big shouts to you and Heritage Hip Hop, yo. I recommend it to everyone out there trying to do their thing in the music, yo. Big shouts to y'all.
Thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us on the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. We are going to go to our final question, which is the most important question of the first interview, which means you could come back. Good music brings good questions. So think about that. If you would like to come back on the show with a new project or something that you're a part of, we open door policy. Come on back.
Oh yeah.
But the most important question I ask is, we talked about fatherhood before the interview started and sharing the music. 500 years from now, you're going to have a legacy because you have a musical footprint and you have a digital footprint with the interview. And you're going to inspire somebody 500 years in the future. What is the legacy you left behind that made hip hop great because you were a part of hip hop culture and you made hip hop music?
Really just if someone listens to the music, enjoys it, relates to it, finds something that puts them in a time that made them feel a certain way. Music gets you into that, brings you to when you hear that song, it brings you to a point in your life or a feeling. When you get that out of a listener, you did it right. And I hope my legacy just brings people that enjoy dope shit. Hopefully my music transcends generations, and when people listen, they just feel it's dope and takes them to a place where they just are vibing, like you say, maybe kick back and with their feet up and just vibe to the record, or they're in the car just driving and just listen to the words and just think about their life.
Life is the most essential part of hip hop, and we thank you for giving us a part of your life as you joined us on this conversation. Thank you to Travesty the Lazy Emcee, who is not lazy, he's just laid back.
Word up.
DJ K1 for this interview, and I look forward to talking to the whole crew. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to get all y'all on here at one time so we can really chop it up about.
That'd be dope. We got some heat rocks coming, man.
I heard.
Word.
And I look forward to talking to all of y'all about it and sharing it with the people. So for everybody out there that's watching, thank you for your time. Once again, rest in peace to Tame One of the Artifacts. We put a one up in the air for my brother. And for everybody out there, may the Most High bless you. Peace. And we out.
Word.
Real hip hop. Real hip hop. We here.